Hello and welcome to Women in Post, a podcast and web series for women in post-production by Women in Post-Production. Today on the show, we'll be speaking with Aacharee.
It was super experimental, I would say, and then you break the structure of the film and recreate it.
Thank you for joining us, and I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about how you got interested in film.
I became interested in filmmaking because I watched this film called Nobody Knows from the director named Hirokazu Koreeda. And it really struck me as a different kind of film. And I can see that you can make film that's not only action film or romantic film, but you can make different kind of film. I think that's why I'm interested in that.
So you went on to school. Your path takes a couple different courses.
Yeah. After I watched that film, I was very determined to become a filmmaker. So when I went to Czech Republic, because I joined exchange program, so I was there for 1 year, and I was lucky to be placed in a school that was very near FAMU, which is a very famous film school in Europe. So I went there often and try to learn as much as I can, reading books and also watching old films. And then, yeah, I was actually considering applying there, but if I didn't get in, I wouldn't be able to get in the university in Thailand, because if I want to get in university in Thailand, I really need to study. I kind of know that I definitely can get in university here, the one with the best score or whatever. So I chose that because it's more certain, Mm-hmm. If I try to get in the Czech Republic one, they only accept 5 people per department per year, and everything have to be the test will be in Czech, and I had to choose one path or another, so I chose to study in Thailand. And then after that, I was kind of disappointed, but then I joined a film workshop, which helped me get connected to the film community here.
So you got into the best school in Thailand, but you said that you were disappointed. Is that why? In what way was it disappointing?
Yeah, well, because it's not film school, it's more academic, but it's not that academic either. So I'm not so sure. It was just not what I expected from the school,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad actually, but yeah, there were a few good professors, but it's not how your film school is in the US or other places.
Okay. So what did you do to get more involved in film while you were at the school?
So I have to kind of go back when I was younger, when I was 15 or something, before I went to Czech Republic for 1 year. I was making a documentary film with my best friend, and we got supported by a film magazine here. So they helped find mentors and also help us with $200, I think. So we bought those mini DV tapes, a small one, and then we just shoot it with that. And so I kind of know people in the Thai film industry a little bit back then. And then when I came back, I saw that one of a up and coming Thai filmmaker back then, she was doing a film workshop, and I joined her workshop, and yeah, it just got started from there, because she had many independent Thai filmmakers to come and teach us, like producing, directing, screenwriting, and like stuff like that, and also editing. So, I got to meet with Aacharee editor. Aacharee is, I think it's the most famous Thai director because he won Palm d'Ors. So yeah, but before he won that, actually I met with his editor and then I kind of like following him around and then kind of begged him to take me in as his intern when I was a freshman. And normally you don't do intern as a freshman here. You do it when you're in like either junior or senior year.
Yeah,
But
here too.
I kind of like, oh, I really want to do this, and then, yeah, he took me in and then that film happened to be the one that won Palme d'Or.
So you met this guy, the most famous editor in Thailand. He wins the award. What happens next?
So actually I used that credit a lot, like in the beginning because, he didn't put me as intern. He put me as his assistant, So it was like very like nice of him that he did that. And then after that, he would recommend me to other directors, and then I would like start working like commercial or short film, like editing. And apparently the director who created that film workshop, her name is Anosha. And then later she produced this film called In April the following year there was a fire. And that film she asked me to edit it. And then later it went to Rotterdam and competed for Tiger Awards. Yeah. And then after that, I think I graduated from my bachelor degree. And then I wasn't sure what I was gonna do because like I really love editing, but it didn't pay that much. And then I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And then my dad, who is actually a philosophy professor, he has his connection, and then he introduced me to this program in England that called Mature Student. So I joined that one. It's like a 1-year program that you go and then you work either in the kitchen or on the ground for 20 hours a week. And then, yeah, you can just live there and you get free food and they give you like a little money to like buy snacks, I guess. And then when you have free time, you talk about philosophy because it's a philosophy, I mean, the school was founded by an Indian philosopher called his name is Krishnamurti. Yeah. And he's like very famous for his like education, philosophy. So I was there for like a year and then I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then came back and then I learned to be a yoga teacher actually. And I'm still teaching like up until this, virus thing. So I was like teaching like once or twice a week, just like for fun. But then I didn't really want to be a yoga teacher. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I should go like back to school and try to be an MD. But then it was like, oh, it's going to take so long. So I don't know.
Sorry, an MD?
I was like I mean like the doctor, right? That's how you.
Oh, a doctor, yeah.
Yeah, like a medical doctor. And I was like, oh, it takes like 6 years. I don't really like sick people. And then I was like,
you don't like sick people.
Yeah, I'm more into like preventing the disease.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I went in like teaching yoga. And then I was like, oh, but then I want to have money so that I can do, stuff that I want to do. So I went to, get a master degree in finance. And then it took like a year and a half. I had to pass before I decided to get that master, I edited, Anosha's second feature film with Lee, which is the editor I mentioned before. So we edited that together, but then I just felt like it was too much because that film, which is called By the Time It Gets Dark, it was super, experimental, I would say. And then I have to break the structure of the film, then recreate it, then break it again, and then recreate it again. And then it just felt like I was editing 10 feature films already or something. So I was like getting kind of crazy. And then, yeah, I decided to do this master degree, and I actually really liked it. I still like it. Like, it's fun, but then after that, after I graduated, I got a job right away, and it was like a job with this Finnish, fund management company that's based in Dubai, but they hire people from like Philippines or from Thailand to do their research. So I was their research assistant, I think. But then I did that for like 3 months, and then I got kind of like bored because it was dry and not that much finance. They were trying to use me to do some marketing stuff or like edit something that's not like that good. So I wasn't sure like why I was doing it.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I was kind of lost, and that was when I got kind of crazy and changed my name because my long-term boyfriend also broke up with me, and then and then I was just like losing my mind. And then I went to talk to Lee, the editor, and then he was just like, yes, it's it's okay, like you can like edit with me. And then he introduced me to Cedric, who is the director of The Mountains Are a Dream That Called to Me. I don't know why, like every film that I did has a very long name. So, and yeah, so I was editing that with Lee, and yeah, the film went to Sundance, and I went to Sundance. It was fun, and then yeah, I think that's it.
So you
10 years of my life. About, yeah.
10 years and 10 minutes. When you went to Sundance to watch your film, I mean, what is it like to sit in such a big, like, world-known festival and have all these people watch something that you edited? Like, what does that feel like?
Yeah, that's the thing, because like, I mean, it's a very big festival, and I was very like stoked that I went there. But then, I also went to Rotterdam before, and that was like a big festival as well, and I went to Tokyo. I went to like Singapore, and I feel like no matter how big or small the festival, even like if I go to just like a screening that has Q&A, I just feel like so excited, every time, and kind of nervous, and like, looked around a little bit in certain scenes to see the reaction, if the people are laughing or if the people are like crying or if anyone's sleeping, I really like that. Yeah,
So
it's fun.
for the Q&A at these festivals, do they ever like bring you up in front of the audience? Like, how does that work for somebody who's maybe never been to one before?
So normally the director or producer or both of them, but normally director, I think, they would introduce the film before they screen it, but they would just say something like, "Oh, enjoy the film." Like normally they don't say much, and then you watch the film, and then later they would just call everyone, to the front, and then if audience have any questions, they would ask, and you could specifically ask the DP or, you know, editor or producer. But normally the questions are for director, so I don't get too nervous. No one really asks me anything.
Really? Wow, I must
Yeah.
have so many questions for all the editors. Have you been asked a question uh, that you can
Mhm.
remember?
The thing is that editing, when like you probably already know that when it's done right, you don't really see it, you know? So that's like most of the narrative film, right? But then you have like a more experimental film. For example, the first feature film I edited was in April the following year. There was a fire. That one we mixed the fiction with documentary. So I would get, you know, questions about that. And then by the time it gets dark, it's like super non-linear. So I would get questions about that too. But yeah, they would ask like why do you make it non-linear, or you know, why do you mix the fiction with documentary, stuff like that. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I forgot I edited another film this last year as well. But yeah, that was the first time I edited the film that was shot on film, like 16 millimeters.
Uh,
That was cool. Yeah, that one went to Locarno, I think. Yeah, it's working here. It's called Krabi 2562. Yeah, it
okay.
was a collaboration with Ben Rivers, the English director, and Anosha, the Thai director.
When you're editing the film, do you
Mm-hmm.
digitize it or do you actually like cut it with a razor blade sort of
Uh,
thing?
we we always digitize this
You
thing.
do.
I don't know how to use the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I would love to though, but it's more I think it takes more time, you know? Like when
mm,
you digitize everything, it's a lot easier.
yeah, for sure.
But I would love to do the thing. The
'Cause
Steam Deck, I think.
it would be
Right?
so much fun, right? They should have an
Yeah.
exhibit somewhere where people can go in and like just experience doing that. I really think
Yeah.
that'd be valuable for people to feel, you know?
Yeah, I know. Actually, my
Um,
school, they have it, you know?
really?
And when I was studying there, I was like, oh, I want to use it, you know? It just looked like a huge table.
Hmm.
But then there was stuff on it, and it was like on like inside the storage room, and then the staff there was like, oh, but then you know we don't really want to bring it out, and then I know it's just so bullshit.
Oh my
But,
God.
but yeah, I
Holy.
really want to like touch it. I even have a film roll that I wanted to like try like scratching it and then like cut it and stuff, but I never get to do
Okay. Okay.
it. Mm,
Maybe someday. I
yeah.
tried it in high school, but it was just audio tape because I was in this like music class and we
Oh,
were
that's
recording
nice.
drums and then he wanted to show us how to use this music software called it was like Cakewalk or something like that. I don't know, it's been a long time.
Mhm.
So he pulled out like these reels and the slicer and the
Mhm.
tape and we like actually got to do it. But it like
Oh.
that's just something for me. Like it should have been a big like, hey, you love this, but it didn't occur to me to actually follow up on that until like a long, long, long time down the road. So, anyways, but yeah, the cutting tape thing, I really liked it. Um,
Yeah, I want to try it.
yeah. So let's see. Okay, let's talk about
Mhm.
your nonlinear experience because it sounds like it took a long time and it's something that you had to go back and redo. Like, was the
Mhm.
nonlinear element part of the original script and did that
Yeah.
change?
Uh, yes, she wrote it that way. I think, yeah, because it was her second film, and she always wanted to do like a non-linear stuff because her first film was actually written linear, but then Lee, who edited her first film, made it non-linear, and it was like very good. I really liked it. I like that film. It's called Mundane History. If you could find it, it's like very good. And so yeah, she wrote it nonlinear, but then she knew that when we edit, we probably have to switch around a lot of stuff. And I find it very difficult because it's almost like, oh yeah, here you go, and then you can do whatever, like anything. And that's like a huge
responsibility.
Yeah, and it's just like a lot of puzzle pieces, and then you don't like you can put it in so many different ways, and then when you put it, I mean, to be honest, right now I don't actually know what the film, like the final one is, because it was just so like mixed up in my head that I really don't remember anymore how it looks like,
Yeah. It's like you remember all the individual pieces rather than like the full thing.
Yeah. It was quite, I mean, it was quite challenging and fun, but in a sense, it was kind of traumatizing because you just don't know what you're doing, and it's like, I don't know, like if I put this before this, or maybe I should be like this, or like maybe there, and then like other stuff, or maybe we should just take this out. I don't know.
Would you say that you prefer to edit things that aren't non-linear that are linear?
It's not like I prefer, but I just feel like I've been doing non-linear for so many years now. And it's almost like people know me for that. Like when I get to edit short film, people would kind of like expect me to like shift things around, and which is nice, I think it's a good skill to have, to be able to like just completely break it and then reconstruct. And it's fun. I love it. But I just feel like I'm not very good at the normal conversation scene, or like the more traditional editing, It's almost like I'm not so sure like when to, because I'm so deep into this experimental stuff. Yeah. So I want to move more towards the narrative. To try new things, I would say.
That makes sense. Refresh your mind and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the clip you sent in. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, let's see. Here we are.
Yeah. But the thing is that the clip I sent in is actually commercial work, so it's totally different kind of thing.
Do you want to talk about the commercial work, or?
I mean, I think the thing that kind of makes me confused about editing is that, especially in the US, is that people would say like, oh, you must have experience with this and that, as if like, I mean, for me, I'm an editor, I can edit anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like, why do you like put me in boxes? Is that how you say it? Like pigeonhole?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I actually edit documentary too, so it's not like, I mean, it's just storytelling. So here I sent, because you only asked me for 30 seconds, right? And I don't know how to put the feature film in 30 seconds. So the commercial is kind of easier. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to show it, or do we want to just like skip that part?
Oh, yeah, you can show it. Yeah.
Okay. Which is your favorite project in your reel?
Oh, I think it was the UN Global Goals one, the last one, with the kid in the football t-shirt because it was actually about this kid in, I don't know this word. Is it ghetto? Like this kid in like a very low income housing area. And then he wanted to be a footballer. And then this organization like found him and then, brought him to Singapore, I think. And then get him to train with the footballers, like professional, athlete. And then he got to watch the game. I mean, on one hand, it's kind of like just like a normal CSR thing. Like you could think of it like that, but I feel like it's also a good thing that at least, this kid get to see something outside of his own world. And maybe he could, see other possibilities in his world other than living there and then helping his parents collecting garbage,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like, it's a good commercial work.
And you said it was from was it the UN?
It's called UN Global Goals. It's like an organization. I think it's probably with the UN, but I'm not so sure.
Okay. How did they find you? Like, did you get all this work from people that you know, or like, did people find you in different ways?
I think almost all of my work are from people who knows other, like friends or friends of friends. For example, everything that you saw in the reel was actually from one director. I mean, on my longer reel, I have like other directors as well, but I love working with her the most because, we started working together for so long now. She was like Lee recommended me to her and I edited her short film. And then when she started making commercial, I've been like working on her commercial, probably like 70% of her commercials. Like I edit them and we have a very good, strong collaborative relationship. And she's also like my very good friend. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you wind up, because I know we talked about before you're interested in moving to the US, will you still be able to work with her when you come over to the United States?
Yeah, I actually told her that if she ever like direct her own feature, I would definitely like fly back here and edit her film because I really like, working with her and I think it's very important to continue the relationship,
So what are the reasons that like you want to move?
I want to move to the US because I feel like you have like bigger projects there and also more, it's not that it's more interesting, but it's different, like I'm quite well established here. Like I said, in the sense that if you want someone to like deconstruct your film and then rebuild it, you could like, I will be like one of the few that you kind of think of. And I want to start something new. And I think the US would be like a good place to start because you have so many projects. Yeah.
Are you thinking like West Coast, East Coast, Midwest?
Probably not Midwest.
I'm in the Midwest, so I'm a little partial to like the global editing opportunities. But most people are in New York or LA.
I mean, I actually I don't mind like anywhere in the US at all because I just want to be where the works are,
Yeah.
But I don't really like LA so much in the sense that I have to drive, right? I actually don't know how to drive because I live like in central Bangkok and we just use subway or like taxi. Taxi is very cheap. And I don't know. Like, and I have a boyfriend who's in Boston. So I probably go to New York.
Hmm.
because it's closer to him. But I don't know. It depends on where he gets his job as well. Now this year he'll be graduating, and
Okay.
with the coronavirus thing, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
almost like the whole future is like a big blob of unknown entity.
yeah,
Like
I
so weird.
know.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
sad.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
can't plan for anything.
right? Yeah. All right. So are there is there anything that you've encountered that makes it difficult to like transition your career from Thailand to the United States? What does that feel like? What does that look like?
Mm, I think because like I actually haven't really moved there yet, you know. So and because of coronavirus, my visa, like the papers are already approved, but then I need the stamp, on my passport. And then I went to get the interview and then they just said, oh, your application is not uploaded yet. And then I was like, what? And then, and then there's coronavirus. So now I could be waiting like 6 months.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, I don't know. It was just so weird. And yeah, but I would say when I get there, I think the biggest challenge would probably be creating, like a sense of community again, because like here I'm very like in the community and I know, like a lot of people and we go out and have fun and stuff. But in the US, I feel like I could talk to people easily, you seem to be like friendly and stuff, but it's not, I think it's a cultural difference because in Thailand or like Southeast Asia, at least, we, we don't talk that easily when we first met, but when we start talking and then we actually become friends, like I can feel that they are my friends. But then in the US, like I feel like, oh, I see you, I can talk to you. And then I feel like, oh, maybe you're a friend, but then actually no.
No.
Like they wouldn't, like, I don't know. It's like a different feeling. I feel like it's like easier to talk, but then maybe it takes longer to actually be friends.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Like, so you're talking about like the developing of like an actual bond with someone,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
feeling of trust. It's almost like a facade of friendliness, and
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a facade, but I would just say like maybe you seem more open, but then you're actually not that open, you know?
uh, uh,
I don't know.
well, I'll try to work on that. um, no, I'm
Just
actually,
cultural different, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, and because I mean, if you always live in the same place, I mean, you don't really know what's different and what's not different.
You
So.
mean you mean for like Americans or
Yeah, like if I grew up in Chicago and I never left, I wouldn't know what
yeah,
people were like in New York or in Boston or in Thailand, which I've never been to Thailand, so it's kind of hard for me to imagine. But I think
yeah.
that you said it pretty good. So
Yeah, let's just put it that way, like cultural difference.
uh,
Mm,
so when you get here, and you got like your Sundance experience and your I don't can't remember all the film festivals names, but you've been through a lot of festivals. You've got this
mm-hmm.
commercial work, like. Are you ready to apply to some big companies, or are you going to go like more the independent route? What's your plan?
I think my plan is to try to do like a bigger independent film. I think because like for me, I mean, I love like certain Hollywood films too, like for example, I really like David Fincher's film, or Quentin film or, um, I think one of my favorite like action sci-fi of all time is Mad Max Fury Road. which is like super different from what I edit. And one day I think it would be great if I can edit that. So yeah, I don't know. But if I don't want to go to LA, then I probably can't do a studio film. But yeah, but my plan is to go to New York, find like good independent film to edit, and then kind of build up from there. And maybe if I get a chance, maybe I go edit in LA a little bit, and if it works out, maybe I move to LA or not. I don't know. But yeah, I want a bigger and more challenging projects, and also maybe one day I could join the ACE, like and have that behind my name. I actually thought of that, like when I started my career, and I was like, oh, that's like too far, But
what
then
is it that you want to join?
the union, the editor union, that like some editors, they have that letters after the name.
Yeah,
Because they're in the ACE.
ACE. It's a
Yeah.
Hollywood. They actually just had an event that I would have loved to go to, but I'm not in Hollywood either. So,
but they haven't canceled the event.
Oh, this was a couple months ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah. Well, is there somewhere online that people can find your works if they want to check it out?
They can go to my website, www.Aacharee, like AACHAREE.com, or can follow me on Instagram. But yeah, I don't really post so much, so go to the website.
Okay, I'll put the link in the description. And just thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience. It's been really cool.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well.
Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this week's episode, give us a like, leave us a question or comment, and share with your friends. Your viewership and support helps promote women working in film. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and join our Patreon community. Interested in being a guest or sponsor on the show? Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. See you next week on Women in Post.